lovely creators. Welcome back to Steph's Creation. It's me, Stephanie, and I know it's been a while since we sat down and created together. Thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this Dorothy-inspired costume. But before we head into the video, remember, all the supplies except the fabric are in my Amazon storefront, linked below. And if you choose to recreate this costume, don't forget to tag me in my social medias, which are also in the link below. And let's get into the video.
We are going to start with an actual corset, and I got the corset off of Amazon. And what I do is I go over the corset and trace the pattern. So I just follow the boning lines on the corset. I trace that first, and then I cut, giving myself like a half an inch seam allowance from those traces, so that whenever it's time to place the pattern piece onto the corset, I can fold over the edges. I can fold over the raw edges and hot glue them onto the corset. And yeah, so you need to fold over those edges because you don't want them to be seen onto your pretty corset that you're gonna make, okay? I cut the excess fabric on the bottom, and I do this by just following the curvature of the corset, and I give myself enough extra fabric so that I can hot glue and fold over the extra fabric to the inside of the corset. So again, that you will not see any raw edges and lines in the front of the corset. So you are going to want to have those extra pieces of fabric so you can fold over the raw edges. I do the same thing for the top part of the corset. I end up cutting the excess fabric and giving myself enough room to hot glue the excess fabric onto the inner part of the corset. Just folding it over and putting my hot glue there so that it's nice and secure so I can move on. And this is how it should look. Man, it looked like we sewed this, okay? We sewed this. Don't let anybody tell you you didn't, okay? I chose to put straps on my corset, and what I did was just sew a 3-inch fabric together, flipped it inside out. I am so sorry that there was no footage of this. And then I bra strap looped it. I'm sorry there's no footage of this. I didn't think it was gonna work, so I ended up not filming it, but it did work. I'm sorry. I glue it with E6000 and I clamp it so it's not going anywhere. And remember to always have, it ventilated, a window open, fans everywhere. Y'all don't hear it because it's silent, but this is how the straps look. But now we're going to move on to decoration. So we're going to heat up some ABS plastic, as I've said before. Actually, no, I didn't say it before because this is the first video coming out. LOL. Oops. Stay tuned for the rest. But we're going to use ABS plastic. If you can have access to Warbler, use that. Use Warbler, not sponsored. We're going to heat it up. And if you're a child, please let an adult use the heat gun. An adult. But I'm going to use this brick mold on the ABS plastic, and I'm going to press that mold in with a silicone mat so it can be embossed into the ABS plastic. And look at our bricks. Guess what that's going to be? You'll never guess. Yes, it's going to be our yellow brick road. I really want to have like yellow brick road motifs onto this Dorothy costume. I don't know. I really just like that idea of having the yellow brick road onto it. So I'm going to paint the bricks yellow, of course. Obvi. So I am going to go in with one layer of paint, and then I'm going to go in with a second layer of this sun golden yellow acrylic paint, just so it doesn't look, the paint doesn't look transparent, and it really gives yellow brick road. And once that's dry, I'm going to go in with this mica sun gold color dust, and I just put a little bit out on the cap, and I take a dry brush, dip it in there, and I just go over the whole yellow brick road. I just love that the yellow brick road is on this. Okay, I tried so hard to figure out how am I gonna get the yellow brick road onto this costume, and I'm so happy that I figured it out and I'm sharing it with you guys. But yeah, so I just dust over that color all over my yellow brick road. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I just like how it turned out with the color dust on it. I think it gives it an extra bit of shine. And here are all the pieces that I made. Look at how it just shines once like the light hits it. And then I'm going to cut them up, giving myself about like 2 rows of bricks at a time, and I just trim it to my liking, making it look like, a road. So yeah. While my corset is on the mannequin bodice, I am going to hot glue the bricks onto the corset. And while I'm putting the hot glue onto the corset, I am going to have the heat gun on it a little bit so that when I place the bricks onto the corset, the ABS plastic can actually mold to the curvature of the corset. So, yeah. And just be really delicate because it is like a lot to maneuver because your hands are both full. But I just like puzzle piece the bricks into place. So yeah, as you can see, I'm doing right here. Look how they like puzzle piece together. So I'm just going to take a little bit of E6000 and I'm going to go over my yellow brick road, and I'm going to put 2 layers of red rhinestone chains on either side of the yellow brick road. And I only put the yellow brick road portions in the front seams of the corset. The other seams of the corset will have other details on them. Speaking of other details, we are going to create these beaded chains for our other detailings. LOL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this small gold bead, and I'm going to string it first. Yeah, I'm going to string it first, and I'm going to put it in the middle of my string just like that. Y'all don't have to follow my pattern. Do your own pattern if you would like, but if you want to follow my pattern, this is how I do it. And then I just tie that into a knot, and that's going to be the end of our beaded chain. Once that's all tied into a knot, I am going to take my needle and I am going to tie the string around the needle just like this. So not all the way down, keeping the string at the top. So I'm going to tie it just like this. I hope y'all can see. I hope this makes sense. Please. Once the needle is tied, I am going to start stringing my beads. So the pattern I went with is the big ruby bead, and then I do the gold bead, and then the 2 basic red beads, and then I close it off with another gold bead, and then I follow it up with another juicy red ruby bead, and that's the pattern I went with. Once it's all stringed to the length of the seam that I want it to go on, I tie up the string of beads. I am measuring it just to make sure it is the length I need it to be, and then I lay E6000 along that seam, and I then lay the string of beads on it, pressing it in there so I know it is nice and secure. And yeah, so once all of that is done, I place these sunflower brooch pins where the straps are. I did that so it can be like, a little ode to Kansas. I've never been to Kansas, but I think they would have sunflowers there. And I put them right on top of the yellow brick road pieces. I think it kind of makes it look like overalls, like, how her costume has those like clamps on it. For the skirt part of the costume, I created a circle skirt of the gingham. I'm not good at calculating, circle skirts, but I cut the top and I cut the bottom the way you're supposed to. And for the inner part of the skirt, I do a double circle skirt. And I actually made it a double circle skirt because I made it a mistake. But you know what, it worked out. So I cut them both in half lengthwise and I stitched them together. And you know, I actually like that it came out as a double circle skirt so it can make it more flowy and more like, you know, have more volume. I actually appreciate it. You know, sometimes our mistakes turn into something really, really great. But yeah, so I gather that circle skirt portion, and I don't think I gathered all of it because it was just a lot of material. So I ended up actually pleating it to the size of the opening of the gingham skirt that's gonna go on top of it. So yeah, so I just pin them together just like this with the gingham skirt on top of it and the double skirt under it, and then I sewed them together on the top part. So yeah. Then after that, I hem the bottom of the gingham skirt and the circle skirt. I actually use like a spiral hemmer. I think I got that off of Amazon. Yeah. So now I'm going to put the elastic band on it. I'm really not good at elastic bands. Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna think I just suck. But I'm just honest with you guys. I will be always honest with you guys. I do my best that I can. I sew the elastic onto the band just like this, and while I'm sewing it on, I actually pull the elastic so it can, like, you know, be the same length as the gingham covering. And I hope that this is like the best that I can do. This is how it comes out. I don't think it's supposed to come out like this, but you know, it worked for the skirt. And then after that, I just folded it up together and sewed the elastic band onto the skirt. And once that's all done, the skirt is finished. And it should look like this, unless you decide to customize it your way, and that's okay too. I want to see that.
Well, guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to see which you create, and I know it's been a while since we've sat down and created together. Life has been crazy for me. If you follow me on TikTok, I've definitely shared what's going on. If life is crazy for you right now in these crazy times, I am here with you. So thank you again so much for watching, and don't forget to be your most creative self.